cliff high.
Yeah.
Halfpasthuman.com.
There's nobody there because I told them in 5 and it's probably sooner than 5. We can just mumble to ourselves and like pretend we're doing something.
We should like get in a fake argument. Like people don't realize that we're.
Okay. Well then what do we argue about? I didn't think that thing was that good.
I don't want to do it.
You said we should. Now you're backing out. That's not very nice.
What do you mean that's not very nice? I'm the one who said it.
Well, you may have said it, but does that mean
I don't
anything?
care what you said, I said, she said. Wait, now they don't know we're joking because they're reading the phone.
Well, I want to see if they're mad about the fact that we're mad about something.
What we are trying to do is let you guys like think that we didn't know the camera was on and like arguing about something, but we couldn't think of something to argue about.
We did. We tried. We gave it
We did not.
We had a half-hearted attempt at arguing over
Oh, you call that half-hearted? Huh?
something we ate.
You ate.
You ate it. You're the one who ate the thing.
I ate the thing.
Okay, so there's Aid is there, who is now Aid the British fella, is now one of my French guys. What do they call him? Moderator. He's a moderator
From Britain.
From Britain.
Oh,
yes.
cool.
Yeah. And,
So you got international moderators.
I have international moderators.
You got it going. Oh.
I had a moderator in Japan, and unfortunately, she passed away. And you
hear that, Mr. Britain, man? Be careful. It's a dangerous job moderating Sister Kate.
He is way younger, I think, than her. All right. Well,
she was in Japan. She probably knew karate.
Love to you both from an Oregon Viking. And there's a landkeeper. I just liked your last photo that you put up on the grams. So, Vikings speak.
Oh, you should give the people time to get in.
Well, all right. Then what do you...
She always gets right into it and starts, and I tell her what you ought to do in a live stream is have about 10 minutes where people just check in and say, hey, and blah, blah, and then get to talk, and then you get going.
Okay, then, hey, amongst yourselves.
Where are you from in Oregon? I'm familiar with different parts of Oregon.
A little bit of Oregon knowledge here and there. May have been there once or twice.
Almost started Shofar Mountain in Oregon.
People shaloming.
Shalom.
Mikey from Missouri Ozarks.
Did you see where that person's from in Oregon?
I'm in Eugene. I'm making my way out.
Eugene. Uh-huh. We're very familiar with Eugene.
A lot of hippies hanging around.
Riding that train high on cocaine. Wasn't that the Grateful Dead's hangout place?
I have no idea.
I think it was. I think the Grateful Dead had a huge following in Eugene.
We're sitting next
Everything
to
smells like patchouli and body odor, man.
Oh, man, sorry. We just got snippy. Instagram has denied access to me unless I submit to a what?
Just say no.
180-degree face scan.
No, don't do it.
Hey, Paul, what did you do to make them mad?
Or get one of those fake masks and do it.
Hello, everyone from North Carolina?
North Kakalaki?
Eastern. And it's just SHK. Letters only.
What is?
The person who posted that. No compromise and no scan.
That's right.
I don't think they're asking for a scan right off the bat. I think maybe you have to do it if you sell something on there or if you've made them angry. Because Facebook got mad at me because I wouldn't change the name of my channel. And they eventually kicked me off because of that. I said, I'm not sending you nothing. You don't have any power over me. You can't say
You have no power.
You want my ID and stuff? No. I don't give that just to some
Any old
nameless,
yahoo that asked for it?
Yahoo and Facebook? I don't know you. That's right. Watch out. I was posting anti-Biden stuff. Well, there you go.
Oh,
see?
there you go, you radical.
You gotta
Get with the program.
be circumspect about what you say. online if you want to stay there, because there are people who will tell you, no, you can't do that.
You can do that.
And then they're going to tell you things like, give me 180 whatever face scan thing, and you're going to say no, and then you're
going to say bye-bye.
That's the lure of the webs. If you hate it and you get off of it, don't say, oh, I wish I could. Right? If you burn that bridge,
Give me my
you
phone,
burned it.
please. One that's got the map on it.
I don't know that that's the map one.
That's not it.
This is the other one. Give us a minute. Technical difficulties.
We're driving in heavy traffic here. It's madness.
And there's Miss Teresa and Sergeant something. Oh, what? Sergeant? I can't read him all. Storms. I know. We know him. We've met
Sergeant
him.
Stoll.
Yeah, he does some cool photography. But Julie.
I actually, truth be told, really like Julie.
Oh, so stanky, but every once in a while I'll put it on for him.
Oh, we got a state trooper behind me. He's probably running my plate right now, probably doing my facial scan. We gonna pull this guy over?
It looks like there's some sort of truck behind us.
What is it?
That's a truck.
No, it's just, no, it wasn't. It's got a light bar on it, though, and a roll bar on the front.
So now we can start.
Sure.
There's some folks in here. We just came from a Viking Preparedness meetup.
I just shot a video on that.
He just shot a video on it.
But it won't be posted because I'm driving. I can't post it while I drive.
So you're getting this news hot off the press. You're getting
Look.
it before.
Cutting edge on Sister K, Shofar Mountain.
His Patreon channel's getting it. That's right. Although it'll be a more in-depth video, I'm sure,
No, I don't.
than the lighthearted humor that we do online.
The witty banter.
The repartee.
The repartee.
It was well attended.
30 people ish.
There were several preppers there.
Several? All?
Well, right, they're all preppers, but I mean, like, at least one of them has his own channel.
Northwest Arkansas NWA Prepper was there?
Yeah, NWA Prepper has a TikTok and a Instagram. And
miles. Take exit 1 onto downstream.
just the nicest guy.
6 west toward US onto downstream Boulevard and US 166 west toward
This
US
is-
west.
This is it. This is us. There we are. We're back. What were we saying? Oh, if people like that are going to meetups because they think it's important, you might want to consider going to a
Take the
meetup
exit,
yourself.
then keep right onto downstream Boulevard toward US 166 west.
To get hooked into all that, you have to go to his
Use the
Patreon
right 2
channel.
lanes to keep right onto downstream Boulevard. Then at the roundabout, take the second exit.
Shameless plug, it only costs, $1 a month?
Stay in the left lane.
And then you have access to a lot more stuff. So I'll just shamelessly plug that for just a second. However,
All right. Hold on.
At the roundabout, take the second exit onto US 166.
Yep. 12 o'clock exit.
12 o'clock. Yeah, we're good.
That's what they should say. All right.
In 2.1 miles, turn left onto US 166.
You guys can follow along.
That's right. But you also want to try to get people near you
Near you.
on board with you.
Yep.
Your neighbors, your church group.
I say you should be able to borrow a cup of sugar from them.
Right, your quilting group. Your guys who all
Fence.
nice, that's a big fence. The guys that you all get together with on the weekend and you wrench on cars. Or the guys you all go hunting dove or go fishing together.
Play cards with on Thursday night.
Right.
Whatever. Yep.
Take it that one step beyond just the social getting together and take the time to exchange some information and be in contact with them and make agreements that, if something happens to me, I can count on you to come to my aid. And
If my car gets struck with lightning.
perfect example was someone in this meeting who said, we're traveling from state to state, and in this one state, our car was struck by lightning and it just killed the car. Like, you're traveling along going 70 miles an hour, and now, no, your car is dead. She was really excited because she had bought a case of MREs, and they were in the car with her, as well as the other things that they
At
carried
the
with
next
them.
stop sign, turn left.
So she was pretty excited about the fact that if they'd had to stop right there and like camp, she was ready. But what she ended up doing was calling someone nearby that she knew,
At the stop sign,
who was that
turn
kind of
left onto
person
US 166.
who came and helped them out and spent 8 hours that day, like getting them towed and making sure they got to where they were going, etc., etc. You want to have people like that you can count on.
Amen.
You want to be able to, maybe it's your church group, maybe you're part of a
For
denomination,
25 miles,
you're
continue straight.
you're some kind of Baptist, and there's Baptists all across the country, and you know that if you are in an area
Come on, let's go.
and you have a problem,
Jeez.
you
Oh, I can't drive. I'm afraid.
you can contact the Baptists in the area, and they will come to your aid.
Sorry.
So that's the point of the mentioning the Viking meetup. And, excuse me, this particular group who does these, they do have some sort of teaching program at their meetings, and the teachings go about half an hour. And the person who puts them on is well organized and has an agenda, so the meeting doesn't just stall and everyone sit around blah, 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 blah. It moves from an intro to a program, and then from there to an eat, and then after that, if someone else wants to present information, you know what I'm saying? It's organized. They put thought into it.
Yeah, I
and
think
that
it's very
helps.
well done.
Yeah, that helps. If you host a meeting or you attend a meeting, like, the point is, we got a lot of lone wolf preppers in this movement, right? Guys out there are like, I have everything I need, I don't need anybody, and I'm just gonna hunker down in the bunker, and I'm gonna live out the apocalypse. Okay, so this is my favorite example. It's a real world example. Does a fire department have one guy? Does a volunteer fire department have one guy? No. Why? Because in an accident, if in a health crisis thing, in a fire, you need more than one person to respond. You need people who
There's a
can,
lot to do.
right? Get the truck set up, get the pump set up, get hoses out, people inside fighting fires, people in there doing rescue missions, people attending people when they come out, people helping take care of the firefighters who are fighting the fire. You need a group. There's a reason a military is a big organization, huge organization, because one guy can't fight more than one other guy.
Clearly, tens of thousands of guys can't fight more than a handful of shepherds with AKs.
It takes a lot of people, especially if you're the aggressor. It's 4 times as many. So to do something other than just sit on your hiney in your bunker and look out, you have to have more than one person. So that's the other
really
point.
bugging me.
That's the other point of the Viking meetup, is group, tribe. And that's also the point of the Afghan video that I did. Afghanistan, a medieval, faith-based, tribal culture walloped 2 world powers. Think about that. I mean, we're all Americans, so that's kind of tribe for everyone who lives here, but we're certainly not all on one page. We're not all one faith.
Clearly.
We're not all one genealogy, because
Clearly.
a lot of Afghans are a bunch of Pashtuns.
They're homogenous, I believe is the word you're looking for.
Right? And then we've got our regional, you got New Yorkers with a different accent than the Southerners.
And we were talking about Key Westers,
right?
Conch Republic.
The Conch Republic and the groovy Californians, man. So think tribal, but think local.
Is it like that in England?
Heck yeah.
Is
Come
it?
on. Come on, Aid. You know it is. There's a lot of comments we missed. Can you turn off the audio directions? No. We'll get lost.
No.
because an army of one was a terrible marketing campaign.
Yeah, it was.
It was back in it takes a village.
Oh,
except
God,
in
this
an army,
driver
it
up
just
here.
needs one.
I need my rocket. I shouldn't have let him in. Instead of screaming at him, I should have just forced him off the
They
road.
didn't wallop us. We left like in Vietnam. Sorry, we lost.
Yeah.
Militarily, could we have won? Heck yes.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda, doesn't really matter.
Absolutely, we could have gone in there and militarily won in probably about a week,
Well, SF toppled their government in like a month.
right? So we absolutely militarily could have won it. We lost it, not militarily, politically, but because it is a political loss,
Look at her pointing.
it's a military loss too.
Don't get her going. This town's pretty nice. They
Oh
have
my
some
gosh,
big,
it's adorable.
nice houses in
Big
this
brick
town.
buildings in this town. See, little town America?
Don't they know what meth is?
Lovely.
That town is not
Adorable
ruined.
place. You got to get out of your big cities to see it, though. All right, so comments. Shalom, good afternoon. Shalom, hearts and minds, and all that junk. That is part of, what do you call it?
You're not going to
Unconventional-
win the hearts and minds of a totally foreign culture like that, though.
Right. In unconventional warfare, it is one of the tools. In
You know, there
their-
was an SF
their
major.
box.
I met him. I can't remember his name. They called him like Lawrence of Afghanistan,
Mm-hmm.
who went in there and won the hearts and minds
He's the one who
of the
helped,
people.
yeah, get that
And then the
general.
generals basically kicked him out of the army.
Right. Right.
And he was, I saw him, he spoke, and then I talked to him afterwards. He was freaking awesome. He like totally got it. And they just ruined him.
Yep. This is what happens when your country and your military get so big. And the point Pastor made is absolutely right. It's so much harder to win over a foreign country whose culture is nothing like yours, whose language is nothing like yours,
Belief system.
whose belief system is nothing like yours, and who looks nothing like you. It's so much harder to go in there and convince them, oh yeah, our way is better. And we're talking about not just any, like in America, it's easier to teach us that because we're only 250 years old. We're like, oh, really?
We have no sense of history or culture.
Right? You've got a better way of doing things, Rome. The arch still works great. We're down with that. But you
Well,
go
the
to
Afghans defeated Alexander. They defeated the Brits. They defeated the Russians when we showed up. You know what they're thinking. We've seen this before. We know how this is going to end.
right. They're a thousands-year-old culture.
But we had to spend our trillions of dollars. We could have paid for every student loan and bought everybody a new pickup truck, probably,
Right.
for that much money.
You don't need a mortgage. We'll just pay that mortgage off for you, buddy. The Pathans are of a lost tribe of Israel. Perhaps you could forge a
Maybe.
cultural connection. You know, because the majority in America is Israelite,
Yeah,
right?
I'm not good at that.
We're a tiny minority too. Our military probably doesn't have hardly any messianics in it, hey? Or our political thing. No way. We got to talk about reality here, people, not what ifs. Reality is we got our hiney kicked. America as a country is arrogant. Our
Amen.
leadership is arrogant, and our leadership either has an agenda to ruin our country, which I think
Yep.
there's an arguable case there, since the Clintons took office. Good chance Bill got turned in college when he was attending a
Yeah.
university, and then he somehow won an Oxford scholarship, went over to England. That's exactly where the communists turned British students and helped.
Kim Philby, right?
Yeah, Kim
And
Philby.
those ilk.
And had England siding with Russia during World War II, which made no
Kim
sense.
Philby was after that.
Well, there were 5 states there who got turned, and they ended up being in
Oh, maybe he was.
high positions in their cabinet. So Bill could have easily got turned, and Hill absolutely is in China's pocket.
And Obama's not even an American. And Biden wasn't elected. Oh, there you go.
Right? So it's arguable that our leadership now is ruining our country because they don't, what do you call it? It's not theologically, ideologically agree with the form of government we have, which is, as my son, the history teacher, and a very smart young man pointed out to me recently, the only country with this kind of government in the historically.
Republic, constitutional based democracy.
Right. There's been nothing like it, and we're still young and free.
We're done. We're not getting much older.
But if your politicians aren't willing to uphold it in the way it's supposed to be upheld, that's where a fall can come. Now,
But it's your show. You're allowed to do that.
we also,
Look, you guys can't get a word in edgewise. Sister Kate's on a roll.
in Afghanistan, wag the dog, move. Why would you say that in front of Barry Soto? I'm not sure what he's talking about. In Afghanistan, wag the dog, move to distract from the election results. Leaders, we have leaders right now. Northwest Arkansas Prepper said. No, we don't. What they've done is they've done the sheep thing. Meh, here's the cliff. Meh, meh. So either they have that that intention of ruining the country, or they're just so incompetent. They're just so blinded. They are just so focused on just trying to get money in their pockets. They're not truly attending to running their country, which is entirely possible too. Serving your country now when you go up to Congress makes you a millionaire. Didn't used to be that. It was air conditioning and catering and health care and everything else in the good old days.
Oh, these are pampered, perfumed elites. They're so out of touch with the world.
Right? Daniel Boone sitting there is not the same as somebody like Nancy Pelosi sitting there, right? She's a millionaire already and pampered and just wasting time. Here's another thing about politicians.
Oh, what's another thing, buddy?
They usually don't start out thinking, oh, I want to be a politician when I grow up. They are the people in class who aren't interested in anything. They're not mathematicians. They're not engineers. You get the occasional Paul Rand who's a doctor. Some of these rich elites kind of just fall into it, but a lot of them are just blowhards who want to yak, and be able to, have their face in a camera and have people listen to them and have a staff.
Blowhards that just want to have their face in a camera. What?
Yeah, who didn't pay their dues,
Oh.
who didn't go 20 years and actually have a military career or a real job.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about me for a minute.
They just want to be bought, their vote to be bought. Oh yeah, I'll sit in this office and listen to other people yak if you'll give me hundreds of thousands of dollars to, send my kid to an Ivy League school so he can not have
Dartmouth.
to do anything either. Yale or Harvard. Join Skull and Bones and graduate, buy yourself a baseball team, right? I mean, that could be happening to our politicians. They're just lazy and greedy.
I think they
and whatever.
sold their soul to the devil.
Absolutely. Oh, many, many, many more comments. Okay. They don't have eyes to see. And someone said, SK and PJ are a powerful team. Don't forget about Michael Obama.
Oh, yeah.
I don't believe
Absolutely.
it.
I do.
He does. I don't. But it was Nancy Reagan who made the office of a wife of a president suddenly have more power than it did.
Oh, I don't know. Jackie O was pretty powerful.
I don't know if she was powerful politically. She was socially powerful.
Okay.
Because
I
she
agree.
was young and pretty.
And fashionable. Très fashionable.
And then with Trump,
Of course, our most fashionable first lady gets no credit for it.
right. And she wasn't trying to use it for any
No.
super cause and, wasn't trying to
I actually feel sorry for her.
preach to all of us about what we ought to be doing with our lives.
Yeah.
Melania. And she was a foreign national who became a citizen. Come on. She's a perfect example of the American dream. Once you've seen the videos, they can't be unseen. How do people connect with like-minded people when so many want to be homeless? You have to start it. This is a thing.
Yep. Build it.
And we know people, men and women, who put themselves out there. Like the guy who does these meetings we went today. He is a very shy,
Actually, he is pretty introverted.
very introverted guy who really would have been the last person you would have thought would be like, okay, he has some administrative skills, and so he just went ahead and volunteered. He's like, no one else is going to do it, and I'm a guy by myself,
and he does an awesome job.
And I will do this because I've had some training, and he does an awesome job. But we also know some ladies who it's the same thing, like don't have a husband or taking care of their mom and their kids, and the need makes them step out of their comfort zone, and they volunteer. And because they have some skills, they plan it and put the word out and execute it and make sure that these meetings happen. So we cannot force a lone wolf out, but we can offer it a little bit of meat to come out. Come out, lone wolf.
Then grab it.
And grab it. So
Tame
host
it.
an event. And I've got a video that talks about if you're a single woman, where you're going to go to meet men. And I made it real simple. There's lots of places. Go to a range or a gun store. There are always men at ranges and gun stores.
It's raining men. Hallelujah.
So just take that idea and run with it. Ask the local gun store if they have a back room that you can borrow,
Right,
or
classroom.
they'll rent and have a classroom, or the range the same. Some ranges have a building attached that has rooms in it, and put it on their bulletin board so that all the range guys can see. Preparedness meeting coming up next week, and we're going to talk about how to can tomatoes, or we're going to talk about how to
I don't think you're going to get the gun guys to go to a tomato canning class.
first aid for a gunshot wound. Just something,
Stop the bleed.
right? Step out, or a local library. You can advertise that stuff through a library and get a room at the library. Preparedness meeting. How do you cook over a fire? I'm new to my area. I can't find any people who are like-minded yet. There's a house that glues the Star of David. I'm thinking of knocking on their door. Thoughts. I'm still looking for Torah folks. You could also do
You could use 119 Ministries Fellowship Finder, Eliyah.com Fellowship Finder.
right? Check your local papers and your local phone books for churches, because sometimes Torah congregations will advertise. They'll say Messianic church or Torah keeping church kind of thing. What is Torah, folks? Okay.
The law. The first 5 books of the Bible.
The first 5 books of the Bible that's the name in Hebrew to talk about those 5 books. Jerry Curry says Jewish. No, it's not Jewish. No. The first 5 books of the Bible
It's your Bible.
belong to the Lord. It doesn't belong to anybody. However, there are groups of people who say that those books are just as valid as the rest of the Bible. And for the Jews, it is a cornerstone of their faith. That's not the only part for them and for us, but it is a part. Is Torah folks Christian? Like, do you believe in the New Testament, Jesus as Savior and Lord? Yes. Jesus was Jewish, right? He was of Judah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jewish doesn't mean he lives in the country of Israel right now. Jewish means of the tribe of Judah, which is of the 12 tribes of Israel. Son of Abraham, son of Isaac, son of Jacob.
His name was changed to Israel.
Israel in the beginning of that book. Shalom to Phoebe White and Grace Akers. All Jews are Israelites, not all Israelites are Jews.
That's not really true either.
But it's, it's
Getting
kind
there,
of,
but it's not true.
yeah. All right, so we talked about the Viking meetup. We talked about Afghanistan. We didn't talk about my favorite part of Afghanistan.
What is your favorite part
the
of
issue
Afghanistan?
of-
Afghanistan.
They are now the heroes of the Muslim world.
Yeah, they beat the great Satan.
They beat the great Satan. And that's such a huge thing to Muslims. And if you're a millennial, you don't even know about the Iranian prisoners we had over there for almost, 3 years, something? No? 300 days, something. The Iranian...
It was it was a long time. I
Yeah.
don't think it was quite a year, though.
Right, the Iranian embassy falls, they capture a bunch of Americans, they hold them
50 of them,
hostage
yeah.
for a long period of time, all through, not all
Carter.
through, but Carter was president. They perceived him as weak, and as soon as Reagan got elected, they turned him back.
When Reagan was inaugurated, they let him go.
Because they knew Reagan could possibly
Reagan was
nuke.
going to nuke him.
Yeah. So it's a battle that's been going on for almost 50 years for the Islamic world to defeat the great Satan. And it even starts before that, because we propped up the Shah of Iran, who was a
Brutal.
dictator.
He was brutal.
Brutal dictator. And so he was overthrown by Islamic extremists.
Ayatollah Khomeini.
The Ayatollah Khomeini.
Khomeini.
And so it's even probably 50 years old, because we're in there stirring things up with the Shah of Iran. We're the great Satan then, right? And when we were overseas in a Muslim country, not Arabic, they hated us just because the Middle Eastern Islamists hated us. Didn't know anything about us,
Right.
never even talked to an American, and yet they already hate us because it's a grouping.
Look what they did to that in there.
Someone said, we'll address that in a minute. How do we get our people back? We'll tell you how you get your people back, but our government won't do it. But the point is, every single Islamic group, country, city, province are going to start sending their sons to Afghanistan to learn how they did what they did.
Yeah.
I think they will. I think they'll send them all over there to their madrasas and get taught how to be a mujh, how to be a Taliban, how to do guerrilla warfare, how to be effective. And there is where you do
They're
California.
definitely studying it.
And the guys who whooped us, they're not dumb. They may not, be able to read or write or whatever, but they understand their military tactics and what was necessary to wage war against not just one superpower, but two, and win. And so they're not dumb. And every single, the caliphate can start there. I looked up caliphate because I didn't know anything about it. I didn't think I was going to do that thing on a live stream, but we're rolling, so maybe we will. The caliphate just means like the headquarters for the Islamic nation. And there have been several over the years, over thousands of years, and it's not always been in the same country. Sometimes the caliphate is in the Middle East, sometimes it's in Africa, sometimes it's in Europe. I think there's been one in Europe, maybe in
Turkey.
maybe in the stands. Yeah, Turkey's been the Ottoman caliphate, and it's just one place where like they consider that the authority. And you're still going to have in the Islamic world a division there.
Yeah, it's a good thing to exploit that division.
It's the Sunnis and the Shias, and the Shias want to follow the bloodline of Muhammad, and the Sunnis want to follow the followers who made their own version of Muhammad. And until they can all agree and get on board on one thing, you're always going to have these little subdivisions following those lines. Okay, I am from Brazil. I follow you and watch all your videos. Do you know about dancing boys in Afghanistan? No. A couple of divorces, the woman remarries and later returns to her first husband. Would you say this Torah following family is accepted in your community?
You can't do that.
Right. That under Torah, that's not allowed. You are not allowed to be divorced from a first husband be with someone else
And then go back
and then
to
go
the
back
first.
to your first husband.
If you're with somebody else, you can't go back to your first husband.
Right. Torah does not allow that. And I think probably the pivotal question there would be, did you do that before you knew Torah? Because if you didn't know it, it's just like the rest of us who were committing all kind of sins before we knew what Torah was and understood we needed to obey it. And we all had to repent for all that.
Everybody sinned.
So everyone sinned. And
What is sin?
that's a really good question. Whoop. Okay. Westhold Forge. Hey. Transgression of the law.
What's the law?
Dancing Boys is a Nazi something or other. Yeah, I don't. Bossy not getting into the bows and why it's bad. What relevance does that have to what we're talking about right now? Torah. Torah are the commandments of Yah. Anyway, you've sidetracked the conversation now. What were we talking about? Afghanistan, big guy on the Muslim bloc, caliphate, headquarters. My guess, it's going to happen in Afghanistan. But somebody else said, what about Turkey?
Turkey's about to be a problem.
Do you think Turkey will try to be the head of the caliphate again?
I think Turkey wants to reestablish the Ottoman Empire. Erdogan.
Erdogan?
Yeah, I say Erdogan, but I think it's Erdogan.
That would be interesting because they've kind of not been doing a whole lot.
We're not going
right?
to mess with them.
Who's going to stop? Responding to
The
a question
Germans,
that
honey.
you,
The Germans. See, you shouldn't address things that you don't want to address. You know
Why
what I mean?
not? That's
Okay.
how then. All right. So yeah, that we kind of covered that. Look for Afghanistan to be a world power, at least in the Muslim world, and for their guys to get fame and fortune and get to dance around in the street on the shoulders of the other guys and shoot their AKs up in the air.
Oh,
and,
definitely.
they're gonna, especially near the end of us leaving. That should be our next thing that we should address. Man, this is pretty. I love what we're driving through right now.
I do too.
It looks like orchards. How do we get our guys out? How do we get our people out?
Oh, they're going to have soft guys as the last guys there, and they're going to probably do what I said.
I think we could easily militarily get our people out. We just have to come in with the superior force that we have and kick some hiney and make our perimeter and load everybody on our ships.
The French are doing it. If the French can do it, we can do it.
Right?
The Brits are doing it. If the Brits are doing it, we can do it.
Exactly. Get them on our
We don't have the will,
helicopters and
though.
go.
We just don't have the will.
We have a weak president.
We have a weak Secretary of Defense, a weak Chairman of the Joint Chiefs. Weak! Worthless and weak.
That is true about China. China's going to move in there and...
China's already there. They didn't leave.
Yep.
China's just like, hey, congratulations, guys. So let's do business.
Yep.
How can we help you?
How many cases of cheap flip-flops do you need?
And oh, by the way, we'd really like to buy a couple of those helicopters and radio systems from you guys. Thank you. This is a cool town.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's adorable, that little store. That is so cute. China's going to take over. China's going to be their best buddy, and China's going to buy our technology, copy it, sell it back to them, and say, jihad against the great Satan. You kicked him out of your country. Yeah, go attack them in their country.
This town is like a ghost town, man. Look
We
at
just
these
said
buildings.
it's cute, and
It
then
was. Well, you're in the downtown part. Look at all these like 1800s brick buildings that are all empty.
Yeah, they need some serious renovation.
Wow.
See, lots of room, lots of opportunities out in Midtown America. According to John Moore, 1 million troops in Canada waiting to invade.
John Moore,
Who is John
He's
Morgan?
a knucklehead guy that people like follow on YouTube and are like, oh my God, he's this former Green Beret and he said this, and it's like nothing he says is right. Please.
Please. Oh, oh,
Yeah, that was cool looking. Looks like the haunted house in Disneyland.
I want that one.
I want that.
Do me a favor. I've got a video I'm uploading very soon. It's real short.
Stay in the left lane.
Stay in the left lane and stop following talking heads, y'all. Stop following people who comment
Continue
on
onto US
other
59.
content, who just take something that they know nothing about and comment on it. If they don't have any bona
In 3/4 of a mile, turn left onto County Road 4000.
if they are just propagating, oh, the sky is falling, the solar minimum, blah, 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 blah. Stop following them. You need to follow people who have real world experience, who have real world
Well, I think
knowledge,
that guy that
who
was just
talk
mentioned, I mean,
truth and fact.
he is a retired special forces guy. I don't think he's lying about that. I think he is. It's just the things he says though are just like, dude, really?
Right? Come on. I mean, fact check some of the stuff these people say. Don't just.
Actually, you know what? I'm getting him confused. I know who they both are in my head, and they both say those things like the world's going to flood, and, you know, the Navy's moving to the Ozarks. No, they're not.
The Navy's not moving to the Ozarks. People.
They know something you don't know. No, they
Right?
don't.
It's infuriating for us, for people to tell us stuff. Turn left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that this? You think she's talking? Where's my phone?
You look. You can just stop right here. Look.
I guess so.
Okay. If you're
We'll see
going
if
to
she
try to
starts
tell me
screaming at us.
that goats wear wool,
For 27 miles, continue straight.
we're good. Goats wear jean jackets in the wintertime because they get too cold. You gonna tell me that? I've been keeping goats for like
You talking
20
to me?
years.
You talking to me?
If you come to my channel and say things to me like that, there's a good chance I'm gonna delete you. Stop listening to nonsense, you guys. Use your brains and your discernment and find truth. Ugh, it's so frustrating. All right. Why is the Taliban saying they've changed? Some people believe that. Here's a good think about it, all right? They are into their religion. However, they have been fighting for 20 years a very advanced culture. They're little spies who pretended to be our interpreters but weren't, and they're cooks, and they're people who got shot and got to go to our hospitals and get all fixed up. Their lives have been changed forever. They've seen cell phones, they've seen drones, they've seen automobiles, they've seen medicine, they've seen women, doing all sorts of things in the military and on the bases and everything else, nurses and truck drivers and this, that, and the other. They have been patched up. They've seen our computers, our clothing. They have been changed by their experience with Americans, whether they liked it or didn't like it, whether they wanted it or didn't want it. And so you're going to have a part of their population who will be changed, who cannot help but be changed. They're frontline fighters. They're medical people. They're little mayors in the towns where our guys would go in and have the tea and talk to their elders and say, I will give you a tractor and we will do these things for your town and whatever. Yeah.
I do not need a tractor. I need 10 tractors.
Right? And I told you, the Taliban's not stupid. If the Taliban can advance their civilization and their fighting ability and their intelligence gathering ability and their status with the world, including China, they're not dumb. They're going to understand cost benefit. All right, they're going to put a line in the sand. We don't cross this because this is a crime.
That's why they're not attacking the airfield, because they want us to leave.
Right. Why go lose a bunch of people when we can just let everybody leave and have our country back? They're not dumb. And so there will be negotiation, and they will get some technological advancement. They may step a little bit closer to, they're going to come out of the medieval time frame and into the Renaissance time frame now, maybe a bank set up here and there. Maybe someone learns how to write. That's why the world's going to change. The world is going to change completely after this defeat. History is going to be different. The trajectory of history, because Trump had us doing well. Trump had us humming along in a good position in the world, and when he did not get reelected, and we get this weak Democratic president, the trajectory Trump had us on is now way over here.
Thank God. Orange man bad.
So if they make a caliphate, that's going to change the world picture, because here's another clue for all of us people out here in America land who are like, everything's great. There's a lot of people and money in the Muslim world. There are some very rich nations.
Oh, a lot of those people are coming here, and you think they're going to adopt American culture? What's left of it? Heck no.
No. And you got places like Dubai making its own island out in the middle of an ocean. Lots and lots of money in the Muslim world. Look out, America. A lot of money in the Chinese world. Look out, America. A lot of money in the Russian world. America not number one anymore. America just went down to about fourth and ought to behave itself and do I forget that president's name. Do a nationalist pull-in. Come back to our borders and sit tight and strengthen ourselves.
Not gonna happen.
We took ourselves to the woodshed and got walloped. It's time to go back in our room, cry, and get strong again. That's right. All right. Chuck Missler. I have no idea who that is. The force multipliers created an animal that didn't have a good leash on it. That is correct. There's J.A. Dudley, another moderator. Hey, J.A.
And we are in the middle of nowhere.
We are in the middle of nowhere. And there's Lon. We are consistent. Bad guys know they can wait us out. And in the meantime, they can do what? In the meantime, we bury them in cash. All right. So, it's 40 minutes in. I think I said pretty much everything I had to say about Afghanistan. Do you guys have any more questions while you still have us? We will wait for a little while while they find you. Okay. Good lesson to learn though for preppers. Wait them out. Yes. Did you see that guy in the gym working out? Have you seen the anti-health measure protests in Australia?
Yes, they're getting larger. Good. Hey, are there protests going on in Portland? I'm away from, being able to check the news. I thought Antifa was supposed to have some big violent thing in Portland today. And it's, 11 o'clock in the morning. Somebody see if you can check into that and report back.
Yes. What happened out there? Aussie truckers are going on strike.
Good. They should all stay home.
That can be very effective when your truckers aren't moving anything.
Yep.
Excuse me. What about Steve Quayle?
What about him? He's got some interesting things to say, but he also falls for his own BS a lot. And he takes little things and makes them bigger than they are. What do you call that? Extravagance.
Okay. Hang on, wait. Now you've got a bunch of questions questions, and I'm not. Your opinion on Jasper, Arkansas? We're seriously considering that area.
You can hunt elk there.
Is that the eastern side of the state?
I don't know. I think it's in the northern part of the state, but I know you can hunt elk in Jasper, Arkansas.
I do know this much.
I think there's an elk. Yeah, well, there's an elk herd there.
There's an elk herd there. The eastern, mid, and southern part of the state is no. West Memphis, no. Very, very dangerous.
Then you don't want to be in the boot heel.
No.
You want to be north of 40 and east or west of about a third of the way into the state from the east.
Right. So you want to be in the western 2/3 and the northern
Above 40.
above Highway 40. So you look on the map and figure that one out where Jasper is. How about the southeast region of the country?
Too many people.
Too many people.
Too many rules.
It's expensive in parts of the southeastern part of the country, and there's other things that Pastor doesn't like about it. So we're not a big fan.
Do this.
Okay.
Can you do that without turning it off?
Yeah, I can do that. All right. This is where you want to be. Out in that. You don't want to be where there's a lot of people. Okay. Hopefully you can see that. Hopefully we didn't just mess that up so major, right? All right. We need to. There. Okay. It looks like southeast Kansas, somebody said. Beautiful view. From my experience, any choosing an area to move should have no building code state on top of the list. Exactly. That way, if you want to drag your whatever RV camper thingy out on your property and set up.
You know where you get building codes? Where you get a lot of people.
Yeah, where you get a lot of people. You want less of that so that you can do what you need to do.
Less population.
What about
density.
Montana? Montana is.
I think there's aspects of Montana that are good. Unfortunately, California has discovered Montana.
And it's not cheap. I don't think you can find like good cheap tracts of land up there anymore because
Yeah, I don't know.
they know they got it and it's valuable. Okay, let's see any other questions. Any thoughts on Maine?
Maine?
It's on the East Coast.
I would like to go to Maine again.
I think Maine probably has some pretty good.
Northern Maine.
Yes, land is cheaper. You're not right near New York City. There's not a whole lot anyone wants in Maine.
Trees
Lots
and
of
moose
trees, and it's cold.
and flies.
Yeah, Callie discovered Idaho too. We heard that today. Someone
Yeah.
who was going to go to Idaho went up there and looked around and said it's too Californicated.
Yep. So they came to the Zarks.
We came to the Zarks. All right. What does Jehovah think about what? Read his word, you know exactly what he thinks. Do you consider growing season and how cold an area is? Yes, and if you're going to go to somewhere cold, like Maine, then look into your alternatives like a greenhouse and what they do to grow things there. Okay. Somebody said, let me help you. They live where they live for good reasons.
Yeah, we could have lived anywhere.
Well, and he spent a lot of time thinking about it. A lot of people there talking of guns or whatever your name is. Alaska's cold and remote, but land is cheap. And if you're okay with living in a pretty darn rustic frontier area where things are expensive and hard to get, like a gallon of milk is $8. If you're a do-it-yourselfer kind of person, it can be technical and cover your own needs.
Yeah,
Go
go.
for it. Arkansas. All right, questions? Any other questions?
sign off if you want. If I see a gas station, we're going to stop.
Okay. All right. We are going to sign off now. It's been almost an hour. Thank you for stopping by with us, y'all. We appreciate all y'all very much. Take it easy. Shalom.